In 2024, Apple shocked the world with a device that didn't just launch a new product category, it launched a new era. The original Apple Vision Pro was not just another headset, it was Apple's bold statement that the future of computing would no longer live inside a phone or a laptop screen. It would live around you. It would live in your space. And now, all eyes are on the next evolution, the Apple Vision Pro 2. This is not just an upgrade. This could be the device that decides whether spatial computing becomes mainstream or remains a luxury experiment. When Apple first introduced Vision Pro, people were amazed, confused, excited, and skeptical all at the same time. The technology was groundbreaking. Dual micro-OLED displays delivering more pixels than a 4K TV to each eye. Advanced eye tracking so precise it felt like telepathy. Hand gestures that replaced controllers. A system powered by Apple Silicon that blurred the line between virtual and reality. But it also came with problems. It was heavy, it was expensive, and for many people, it felt like a glimpse of the future that wasn't fully ready yet. Now imagine Apple taking everything they learned and fixing it. The Apple Vision Pro 2 is expected to refine, optimize, and push spatial computing further than ever before. And if Apple follows its typical evolution cycle, this second generation could be where things truly become practical. The biggest question everyone is asking is performance. The first Vision Pro was powered by the M2 chip alongside the R1 chip designed specifically for real-time sensor processing. But technology moves fast. If Vision Pro 2 integrates a newer generation, Apple Silicon chip, possibly something equivalent to an M3 class architecture, we could see massive improvements in efficiency, graphics performance, and thermal management. That means smoother multitasking, more realistic 3D environments, better gaming experiences, and most importantly, less heat. One of the biggest criticisms of the first device was comfort. Wearing a computer on your face for extended periods is not easy, even though Apple engineered it beautifully. Weight distribution and battery dependency were concerns. Vision Pro 2 could introduce lighter materials, thinner display stacks, and more balanced weight design. Even a small reduction in grams can make a dramatic difference in comfort. Battery life is another major area for improvement. The external battery pack worked, but it wasn't ideal for everyone. Apple may optimize power consumption significantly in the next generation, possibly extending usage time while reducing heat output. Efficiency is where Apple traditionally shines, and Vision Pro 2 could showcase that advantage clearly. Now let's talk about display quality. The original micro-OLED panels were already industry-leading, but display technology evolves rapidly. Higher brightness levels, improved HDR performance, wider color accuracy, and even better pixel density could make virtual environments feel almost indistinguishable from reality. Imagine watching a movie where the screen feels larger than any cinema. Imagine editing videos on floating screens bigger than your entire wall. Imagine gaming in a world that reacts naturally to your eye movement. Vision Pro 2 could make these experiences feel even more immersive. Eye tracking technology is likely to improve further. The first version already felt futuristic, selecting elements just by looking at them, but increased precision and lower latency would make interactions feel completely invisible. No mouse, no controller, just intention. And then there's software. Hardware alone doesn't define success. Ecosystem does. Apple's Spatial operating system introduced a new way to interact with apps. Windows floating in space, apps layered around your environment, the blending of digital and physical reality. Vision Pro 2 will likely launch alongside major software enhancements, expanding developer tools and encouraging more immersive applications. Productivity could become one of the strongest selling points. Imagine having unlimited monitors anywhere you sit. Students studying with interactive 3D models. Designers manipulating virtual objects in real scale. Remote meetings where participants feel physically present. But the biggest transformation might not be productivity. It might be entertainment. Spatial cinema is one of the most powerful demonstrations of this technology. Watching immersive 3D content in a private digital theater changes the entire viewing experience. With Vision Pro R, Apple could push partnerships with content creators and streaming platforms even further, making immersive media a standard rather than a novelty. Gaming is another frontier. While Apple has not historically dominated hardcore gaming, spatial computing opens new possibilities. Real-scale environments, gesture-based interaction, augmented worlds blended into your living room. If developers embrace this platform, Vision Pro 2 could become a serious player in next-generation gaming. But here's the real question. Will it become affordable? The original Vision Pro was positioned as a premium device, almost experimental in pricing. For Vision Pro 2 to expand adoption, Apple may need to optimize production costs or introduce tiered models. A slightly reduced entry price could dramatically expand the audience. And then there's competition. Companies across the industry are investing heavily in mixed reality. But Apple's advantage has always been integration. Hardware, software, ecosystem, all controlled under one vision. Vision Pro 2 could strengthen that ecosystem advantage even more, especially for users already invested in Apple products. Imagine seamless syncing between your iPhone, Mac, and Vision headset. Messages appearing in space. FaceTime calls becoming life-size. Mac displays extending into infinite digital workspaces. This is where Apple doesn't just sell hardware, it sells an experience. But let's be honest, Vision Pro 2 is not just about features. It is about validation. The first generation proved that spatial computing is possible. The second generation must prove that it is practical. If Apple successfully reduces weight, improves battery life, enhances performance, expands the ecosystem, and refines comfort, Vision Pro 2 could move from being a futuristic luxury device to becoming the foundation of a new computing category. And this is bigger than just one product. For years, the iPhone defined personal technology. It reshaped communication, business, entertainment, and social behavior. But every technological era eventually reaches maturity. The question is not whether smartphones will disappear. The question is what comes next. Spatial computing might be the answer, and Vision Pro 2 could be the device that brings it closer to everyday life. Imagine 5 years from now, classrooms using augmented lessons, offices operating in digital collaborative spaces, families watching immersive content together, creators building 3D worlds from their homes. The future does not begin with perfection. It begins with iteration. Vision Pro was the first step. Vision Pro 2 could be the refinement that accelerates adoption. The world once laughed at the idea of touchscreen, phones replacing physical keyboards. The world once doubted tablets. The world once questioned wireless earbuds. Innovation often feels unnecessary until it becomes essential. Apple Vision Pro 2 stands at that exact moment in history. Not guaranteed success, not guaranteed failure, but positioned at the edge of a technological shift. And if Apple executes this second generation correctly, we may look back at it not as just another product release, but as the moment computing truly left the screen and entered our space. The future is not inside your pocket anymore. The future might be right in front of your eyes. And this time, it could be lighter, faster, smarter, and more immersive than ever before. This is Apple Vision Pro 2, and this is just the beginning. When Apple releases a first-generation product, the world doesn't just look at what it is, it looks at what it will become. The original Apple Vision Pro marked Apple's official entry into spatial computing. It was bold, expensive, futuristic, and intentionally ahead of its time. But now the biggest question echoing across the tech world is simple. When is Apple Vision Pro 2 launching? Another key indicator is Apple's silicon roadmap. If Vision Pro 2 integrates a next-generation chip architecture beyond M2 class performance, Apple would likely align its launch with its chip cycle announcements. Apple typically unveils major hardware either during WWDC in June or during its fall special events between September and October. WWDC would be the perfect stage if Vision Pro 2 focuses heavily on software, evolutions, and spatial operating system upgrades. A fall event would make more sense if Apple positions it as a refined, consumer-ready device with broader market appeal. There is also the global expansion factor. The first Vision Pro rollout was limited and carefully controlled. Apple may use the second generation not just as an upgrade, but as a wider international expansion strategy. Launching Vision Pro R alongside broader country availability would maximize global momentum. However, there's another possibility. Apple may introduce a lighter or more affordable variant alongside the second generation, separating the premium Pro line from a more accessible model. If that strategy is in play, Apple could announce both in the same event to redefine the entire category. Supply chain signals also matter. Advanced micro-OLED display manufacturing is complex and expensive. Apple would only move forward with a launch once yield rates improve and production costs stabilize. That stabilization process strongly supports a 2026 timeline rather than an immediate refresh. But here's the important part. Apple is not just planning a product launch, it is planning the future of spatial computing. Vision Pro 2 cannot feel like a minor update. It must feel like progress. That takes time. If the company follows its pattern of refinement over reaction, we could see an official announcement teaser months before launch, possibly hinting at lighter design, improved battery efficiency, and next-generation performance. Imagine a stage, a dark room, a single glowing headset silhouette, and the words appear, the future, refined. Whether it arrives in late 2026 or early 2027, one thing is clear. Apple Vision Pro 2 will not be rushed. It will be calculated, and when it launches, it won't just be another tech release. It will be Apple's statement that spatial computing is not an experiment anymore. It's evolution. The countdown has already begun.